Howdy. Hello. Just the mic there. Happy Friday. Was going to go to the patio. Didn't. Got caught editing video and looked up. I was like, oh my gosh, it's top of the hour. Got to jump on. We got dinner to go. It's Friday. Got to get something going. It's Friday, which means it's time to roll the open. Virtual happy hour is on the air. Howdy. How y'all doing today? Let's see here. I was going to just check and see if I'm hearing myself, which usually it's a thumbs up since our viewership is dwindling fast. And I don't blame folks, be quite honest with you. This is really an exercise of just to kind of keep me going. Yes, wife's hungry. Yep, I'm hearing us. That's all good. Yep, we're doing good. Hope you guys are doing good on a Friday. Again, like I said, it's actually turned out to be pretty nice outside. I walked by the thermometer. Is that what it is? Gauge. What is it? Thermometer is what you put in your mouth. What do you do when what is it when you're just checking the temperature of the weather? Is that called a thermometer as well? What's that called? Don't know. Good to see cousin Blake out there. GM, love you, dear. David. Well, whatever it's called. I walk by in the patio, and most of the time this summer, triple digits. It's really the last 6, 8, 9 weeks. Once it crosses 100, it just like it pegs at like 120, whatever it is, because as high as it goes, and it's the patio's got concrete anyway. And you know the whole drill. If you live in a city with the convection and the heat rising and the concrete holds the heat, and that's why here in Dallas, in Dallas-Fort Worth, you can go to a Ranger game, and at least the old ballpark, not the new one, because you can't go to the new one. You can't go anywhere, really. At 9 o'clock, you'd still have temperatures 96, 97, whatever, at 9 o'clock at night because of that heat. Well, kind of what my temperature gauge says outside. Today, came back to the coffee shop about 2 hours ago, and I was like, the double take. It was for the first time, at least, I shouldn't say first time, because it's been like that the last couple of days. But the first time we're about to go on the air, I looked and it was like showing 90, which really means it's probably like 80. And just checking the last hour, I'm very Seattle-like there, and very, very funny, Kevin. Very funny. You use your phone. Yeah, I do too, but we got one of those cute little dials in the backyard that tells you the temperature, which, again, pretty accurate until it gets up to triple digits or whatever, and then it just pegs. Because I think it gets like the service of the sun out there on the patio in August when it's triple digits or 90 some odd degrees and all that heat. What is the current reading at DFW? It's a 78 degree, actually 78 was 79 the high. I got to tell you, working out this morning, pretty good, but optimum. It was just enough, a little sweat going, a little lather, but not such a scorcher where you're just dripping. And it wasn't so like it was a day ago, where it was actually so cool out there. I didn't sweat at all. I mean, I could have worn a wool sweater. It wouldn't have mattered. It was actually breezy in the low 60s Fahrenheit for us yesterday. I got to remember, I got to convert that Fahrenheit to Celsius. Yes, I've got a coffee up here. Still working on that. The original plan was to go downstairs to the patio and put a little Bailey's in the coffee. I didn't quite make it. So, again, I was working on some editing for the weekend. I do a show, Talking Baseball Australia, which I love, which I was very proud of. We did yesterday. Really good show, a lot of information. Editing out, but I had a real major brain fart where I didn't remember a person's name, and it was very maybe a Biden moment. I don't know, but whatever it was, I kind of stammered a little bit, and it had this great segment to put into a video for tomorrow. Only problem was I had a total meltdown where I'm like, I'm thinking in my head of one person and that name, and I'm trying to get that name out of my head because that's not the name I want to fire out. I want to fire out somebody else's name, but I'm kind of gauging. Anyway, also where I announced that the Perth Heat were a person, which was not the case either. So anyway, it was not the show was great, but there's always some humorous points in the show, and that was one of them. But I was trying to cut down a real solid segment, and we'll do that. Good to see Brooke Knight, speaking of Perth Heaters out there. But anyway, that's what I was working on, and I was working on. What I do is I repost these little 2-minute, minute and a half videos tomorrow over there, Saturday in Australia. Well, Saturday in Australia, which actually will be posted in about 6 minutes, the first one. And then I post one tomorrow evening, same thing for Sunday over there. And then usually do a Monday one, then usually one on a Wednesday or Thursday leading up to next weekend show. Or I'm sorry, next Friday's show. And some highlights of the show and all that kind of stuff. So we're doing that. And then, just it's what they call the business repurposing content. It's some kind of big word that some young 20-something whippersnapper out of college 5 or 6 years ago came up with, and makes us all old folks that are in the media think the word repurposing content. That's repurposed content. It's a big thing you'll hear. I do have one thing I want to talk about today that really, by the way, if you want to jump on, there it is right there. There's your direct link. I don't know if Mom will join us. I believe she has got a high school football game, because in Indiana, they're playing football. Now, in Texas, they're playing football too, but not every school is playing football. For example, where my wife teaches, St. Mark's School of Texas, no football. Where my nephew plays, it's the Sturgeon Prep, which is in the same conference or whatever you want to call it with St. Mark's. They're looking forward to soccer. This is the wrong country to promote that. All right. I love soccer. I think it's cool to go to. As a matter of fact, I was looking forward to going to a game in Rome last spring when COVID hit. Didn't get a chance to go. We didn't go to Rome at all. I think it's kind of cool. I think soccer's got a really cool, passionate following in parts of the world, but you can't substitute Friday Night Lights, this guy, for Friday Night Lights playing kickball. I'm just saying. So in lieu of Mom not joining us, she usually comes in around a little later in the show, but WD-40 joining. I'm not sure what she's banging around out there, but she's banging around out there. What is that? The mail?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, use your words.
Yes, mail.
Wife, use your word. Any mail? Anything good in the mail? Live mail? What's that shirt you're wearing, by the way?
Let me see if there's anything good. No. Credit card bill.
Oh, that's not mine.
Yeah, that one's yours.
Well, I thought I went paperless, which I thought when I went paperless, it meant I wouldn't get any more bills. Oops.
Then I got something from Neiman's, like a mail thing from Neiman's, but I don't think it's anything good, and it's not a bill because I don't owe them anything.
Oh, well, so maybe it's I was going to say it's a coupon, but aren't they just reshuffling and kind of getting back in business?
Oh, let me open that and see. Let's see what it says. Maybe
they're trying to encourage people to spend, and I'm a fat kid. I can't shop there, but I can go to the Epicurean shop and buy some snacks.
Give it a
cologne counter and buy some colognes.
Give it some time.
They do have that fancy cologne counter over there.
Oh, it was just reminding me that the new card had come and then to destroy the old one. That was.
Well, I'm still too fat to shop there, so all good.
I'm too poor, so.
No, that makes two of us. So anyway, I don't know, where was I? Oh, but the whole weather. I was going to come downstairs and did that. Well, I've been all over the place with the show so far, which is probably pretty good. I was talking about football. My mom going to football. Now, some private schools in Texas are playing, one of which is the two schools that we're associated with the girls at Prince of Peace and where we went to, Trinity Christian. They're playing, but you mentioned St. Mark's not in Cistercian. How you feel about WD-40, about going to watch? And I love Maxwell. I love the kid. He's awesome. And your students, I'm sure, awesome. Are they going to try to substitute Friday Night Lights for Friday night or down the road soccer games? Is that something that moves your needle?
That's interesting that you say that. I really don't know. I don't know what anybody's plan.
Well, that's my nephew's next sport, and I feel terrible for the poor kid. He's a senior. He's a good little football player, and I saw this earlier. There was a kid from Ohio that was trying to drum up support to play his senior year, And his situation was he was trying to better himself, perhaps get a scholarship where he can go to college because he wasn't going to be able to afford to go. Maxwell's not in that boat, but we've talked about this before. And I think now it really hits, it comes home. He has a really good senior year. He might be shaving off dollars off his college because he was not looking going to Oklahoma, not the University of Oklahoma, because who would do that? He was looking to go to Clemson. Well, maybe Clemson, but he wasn't looking forward to trying to play football at a high level. If he went to some place like Colgate or University of Chicago or a smaller school, even an Ivy League, he would consider maybe even the Naval Academy he might walk on. He's talked about that, but without getting a chance to play this fall, and he's not alone, the opportunity to perhaps shave off dollars off his college or even getting some free college is a chance to play has probably been whittled down. That's unfortunate. What are you doing? You're gonna respond? You're your educator. Respond.
We're just talking to the world. I didn't think you were talking
No,
to me.
well, I was hoping maybe you'd respond because you actually are in the same conference and you deal with young men who are playing sport or not playing sport. And what's their action or reaction been? You were around this week.
That they were hoping that they could play in some kind of league. That's not. I know that that's what they were talking about for some of the other sports, that they were going to form sort of like a league that was, but they weren't sure if they would get cleared to do that. I think they want to do that. I think that they really want to play. I think they missed the camaraderie and the competition, but I don't know. I don't know if they've been cleared to do that.
Well, anyway, it's frustrating because we'd be, like I said, my mom's going to a game tonight. We would be going. We'd be driving across town, probably having a quick bite to eat before we went to the game or one of the games, and even TCA is not playing for a little bit longer now. Some of the high schools are gearing up, and still the big ones I think are another week away. I think, but of course this is the first week. Of course, last night the NFL started, and of course that was going on when the Stars are playing, so we're flipping back and forth. You had that going on, and then of course the first college games, the first ones that matter, I guess.
None of it matters. Big Ten's not playing.
Well, there's some talk, and hello, Melanie. But I'm going to talk about Melanie and Curtis in a moment. I don't even share this with my wife yet, but I'll share with her in a moment. We'll say something about them in a moment. But Ohio State, which is ridiculous, they're going to try to play 5 games, which would be them, Nebraska, University of Iowa, I believe Michigan. I don't know about the other Michigan school, and then
they think they'll win.
And then Happy College, Penn State. That's the ones that sort of seem like they want to play in the Big Ten, but that's kind of died a little bit. It was ridiculous because no one wanted to. When the Big Ten talked to Trump and the Big Ten Commissioner Warren didn't want to look like he had want to do anything Trump wanted to do, so they sat on it for a week. Now it looks like some momentum's building. Ohio State's coach was whinging about wanting to play and about they want to play. And of course, they're already saying that if Ohio State plays 5 games, they're going to get a chance to play for a championship in the Final Four anyway, which is ridiculous. If Ohio State plays for a championship playing 5 games and everybody else plays 9 or 10, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ohio State has a self-inflated worth that just doesn't make any sense. And I know I'm probably going to upset several people out there because I have some mates, some dear mates of mine, they're Ohio State fans, but come on.
Did they go there?
Well, that's not the point. I'm not even talking about that point. But I mean, I heard that today on Ryan Hyde's show out of Lubbock that they may play 5 games and still get a chance to play for a national title. Which, and again, those 5 games, Nebraska, they should win. Iowa, probably, depending on if that's in Iowa City. Michigan, it's a rivalry game. Probably win that one. Michigan State, probably. But if they play Penn State at Happy Valley, I'm not going to sit there and tell you Penn State doesn't win that game head to head. So you're telling me that they have to go 5-0 against 3 pretty good teams, but not going to play 5 games. So they have to win 5 games when everybody else, Oklahoma State, for example, use them. Oklahoma State's the sleeper pick for the Big 12. Oklahoma State could go undefeated in the Big 12 and not get a bid to play the Final Four because they're not Ohio State, which is ridiculous. So anyway, tell us about your shirt before I tell you about Curtis and Melanie real quick.
Tell me about my what?
Your shirt.
Oh, a ridiculous Hawaiian shirt. Woo-hoo.
Well, give us a shot of the shirt so we can see it better, W40.
It's the senior shirt. So like it says, I think there's somewhere where it says XXI.
Oh,
like for the cool. Class of there it is.
There it is. Yeah.
For the class of 21. And there's the chapel right there. There's, I think, a Path to Manhood statue. Oh, yeah, the Path to Manhood statue right there.
Yes, cool.
So there's some St. Mark's sort of images on it. Yeah, it's what the senior boys picked for their senior shirt.
Ryan, your show did get quoted. It was good again, and more. It got me thinking when you told me about
you talk all the time.
We talk about Ohio State. I'm thinking, wait a second. Now they're going to probably beat Nebraska and Iowa, but I mean, yeah, I should probably beat the other. But I mean, there's no guarantee they'll be at Penn State, and I just thought it was ridiculous. They're going to play 5. Yeah, I mean, he again, as I quoted, and well, the best thing that Ryan talked about today, before I get to Curtis and Melanie, was he was talking about how, as a broadcaster, and I think Kevin would know this as well. How many times as a play-by-play guy or doing a live remote in the radio business, you've had people come up to you. Now, here you are. Let's set the scene. You're wearing a headset. Now, I've got these headsets in my closet over here, my equipment closet, 2 earphones, a microphone, so I can't even hear anybody around me, right? And I got this microphone here, and I'm probably talking, describing, and whatever, and somebody will come up to you and go, hey, man, where's the restroom? Or, hey, I won the lucky number here. They think you're the PA guy, or they'll think that you're on the radio, and they just kind of say, hey, man, and that's happened to me. And how many times, honey, you've heard me on the broadcast with the T-Bones and the Railcats over the years, where some fans just all of a sudden walked it up and just interrupted me with maybe even Sioux Falls or wherever.
It's kind of mind-boggling because the door is always closed and it's like radio, like it's pretty clear.
It's like it has my name on there, voice of the T-Bones, radio announcer. It's right there. For example, there was the couple that was debating in Sioux City. Now, according to Sioux City, the booth and the stands are pretty close. It's very, very old, very high schoolish. It's big. But it's not, it's kind of like a high school setup to a degree. Love the people there. But there's a couple sitting below me. You know this story. They were fighting about Applebee's or Chili's. But after the game, they're sitting right below me, having a couple of beverages, and they were in a fight because he wanted to go to Chili's, she wanted to go to Applebee's, but she was mad at him because he had a crush on somebody that worked at Chili's, and it got this big spat. And the whole time, I'm hearing them on my crowd mic. They're in my crowd mic below me, fighting back and forth about who they're going to, Applebee's or Chili's. And finally, I leaned out the window and said, Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm like, meet in the middle. That was that. I was telling Ryan today, there was a story when I was in Burlington, and Curtis has been to Burlington, where I went to Burlington. They used to bring me beers handed to the broadcast window because the fans could actually walk up to the window. They'd hand me little 12-ounce cups of beer, and I'd have them all lined up there, and I'd be a Harry Carey when it's all said and done. There's always something good, though, yeah.
Okay, so what's the scoop on Melanie and Curtis?
Oh, scoop-wise, just that tomorrow one of their kiddos is playing in Dallas a little baseball. So
Where?
I'll tell you off the air, but Kurt messaged me yesterday.
Close by?
Well, we live in the city, babe. I mean, what do you mean close by?
Well, Dallas is a big city.
I understand, but it's in our kind of our vector, so to speak. I mean, it's probably in our 20-minute vector. I don't know for sure, but we'll have to talk about it. But we've been dying for any kind of sport event, something to do besides go get yogurt. I mean, it's the afternoon. I've got it for you. I'll talk about. But I meant to tell you that last night. We were all excited about that. So let me catch up here. Ryan said this show got quoted. Kevin says Minnesota is content not playing and dropped other varsity sports, all to keep Dick Tinderwalds happy. Why don't those 5 teams do a home and home? Well, that's what they should do. They should probably do a home and home, something like that. That'd be a pretty good idea. The Big Ten's dropped the ball. I'm going to get into it. And I know it upsets you, honey, because you're a Big Ten gal, but oh well. Kevin's been there. Got questioned in the press box about the suites and the skiing club in St. Paul. I've had all kinds of. There's a little kid came up to me in Sioux Falls, And he just thought the crowd mic, because the crowd mic in Sioux Falls, you attach it to the railing outside the booth that goes down the side of the stadium. And the little kid, he just thought that microphone was for him. So he walks up and says, kind of taps it like, is this thing on? And goes, sir, like it's like it's a drive-in speaker thing. So he's like, sir, can you tell me what that lucky number was again, or whatever it was? And I'm like, and here it's right in the crowd mic, and I got to find that. But yes, I've done that too. Yeah, downtown Dallas is where they're playing down. It's the Mavericks have a field of some sort. I guess it's down. I don't know where, but somewhere. Yeah, it's not far. I mean, we can get downtown about 15 minutes. Well, Saturday, not too bad.
10 minutes.
Kyle Drew, good to see you in Australia. Hope you're doing well too, mate, and appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. We saw a great picture of you and your family over the last couple of days. I think it was you and your the whole gang, you and your brother, and a whole bunch of guys together. Good picture. The Drew family there. They're in Western Australia this morning. It would be 6. He's up early, 20 till 7.
Good Lord.
Little brekkie there.
That's
but
well, I was up this morning.
Well, yeah, you were up pretty early this morning.
That's why I had dinner early.
Yes. Well, we're gonna have dinner early. I'm gonna find at least what we're gonna cook's already out. I mean, be done, and we're off the show. I'll be ready to go, and I have it done in 20 minutes. Won't be very long. But
so did your mom not show up today?
Well, they got football, babe. I mean, she's got things going on.
Last time.
I'm not in charge of my mother. She lives in Indiana, 10,000 miles away, babe. I don't know.
10,000 miles away. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. The dog's about to bark.
I heard him barking on my call to the pin earlier. So,
can you see him?
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
He looks like he looks like he's about to go.
Yeah,
what do you see, buddy?
Looks ticked off, doesn't he?
He looks like he's about to really bark at something.
Come here, bud.
Oh, he sees a DOG.
Oh, another dog. Okay. Melanie says that it's the ballpark by American Airlines Center. I know about it because I know that I've got a buddy in my Bible study group that is in my Thursday group who works at the Mavericks, and he and I had talked about that before. I don't know exactly where it is downtown, but it's not too far from the AAC. And
that's cool.
But I don't know
Are they going to have a concession stand?
I don't know, babe. We'll find out when we get there. But if assuming we can make it work, because they got 2 games, we'll try. We may go swing by there on the way back to Fernando's. We'll see. But I don't know. You're asking me questions. I don't know about that.
I tutor at 11. That's the only thing I got going on.
Well, we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. But I thought it'd be a good idea. I was thinking about driving out to Ennis, the drive-in picture show, because Sunday, well, Tech plays tomorrow too at some time. I don't even know what the story with that is.
A drive-in maybe would be fun. It would be kind of romantic.
But I don't know if that's going to be this weekend or not. And then Sunday night we got Cowboys football in the evening. So I'm probably
next weekend we're getting dangerously close to birthday season.
Yeah, but
have you already been thinking of things
for what?
For your wife.
Well, I'll get there shortly. I mean,
I've been thinking of things for you, and I'm kind of running in a dead end.
Well, I'm kind of planning on maybe a getaway I'm thinking about a getaway for Thanksgiving, perhaps.
For my birthday?
Well, yeah. Thinking about it. What's the outlook of the AB? Good question, too. I'll take that. I was just going through the show a moment ago. Upcoming ABL season of Sydney signing Manny Ramirez. And very good, Kyle, because actually we had Adam Dodd, who's the CEO of Sydney, on the show yesterday, and Talking Baseball Australia's Facebook page and our website, which will be maybe fully running this weekend. It's pretty close. Adam Dodd talked about that. Paul and I talk about this as well on our Facebook page. You go to Talking Baseball Australia. But I'll tell you that what I said, Kyle, basically, it's good. It's not bad publicity because, again, the Boston paper, the LA paper, obviously papers in New Zealand, all your media outlets in Australia have covered. There he is, Max, right there. They've all covered Manny Ramirez, and that's good. It gives your league publicity, legitimacy. That's item number 1. Number 2, Sydney being the market that it is, it's the New York of the ABL. You need a good team there. You need a good franchise. You need an exciting franchise there. Number two. Number three, obviously merchandise sales are to the roof, and Adam Dodd talked about that when he joined us on Friday morning over there. And then the fourth item, which would be it's going to lead to more play. And I think you're seeing it already with New Zealand signing 5 former big leaguers. You're going to see more fringe big leaguers, guys who may be even better players. Maybe better players than Manny Ramirez at this point. They're not better players overall, but at this point in their career, a better ball player than Manny Ramirez playing in the Australian Baseball League. So I think it's all good. It can't hurt. That all is a big if, though. You got to play ball, and that's the thing. And that's right now. Plan A is on the table, playing the bubble in New Zealand, and also playing a competition in Australia. I have a feeling Plan B though is coming, and that may adjust some things.
They just need to actually play in a bubble. Like each player needs to be in a bubble, and then you could play.
Hey,
like the Bubble Boy.
Was that John Travolta?
Maybe.
Yeah, am I thinking of him and Robbie Benson? I get him and Robbie. I'm getting my Iron Lung and my Bubble mixed up, because wasn't Robbie Benson in one of those, and wasn't Travolta in one of those? I thought a show like that. I'm dreaming, man.
For which one?
Okay, well, I mean, who thought I would bring that up on the show? All right. All right, love you. There we go. We'll see you later, babe. See you at dinner. There we go, WD-40. I do have something I want to get to, and it really got into my crawl today. And who all seen the whole Dak Prescott and Skip Bayless nonsense? Anybody in North America know what I'm talking about? If you don't know, Skip Bayless is supposedly, and he was actually in the Metroplex 80s, part of the 90s. He was one of the first guys on the Ticket, which is the big sports station here. He wrote for both the Times Herald and the Morning News in Dallas. I know him from being here. I know of him from being in Dallas, but I wasn't a huge fan of his before. He's always the one that's, causing some kind of trouble of sorts. And I've never really given him much of my mind. I just haven't. The long and the short of it is, he basically criticized Dak Prescott. And of course, if you know the Dak Prescott story, the Cowboys quarterback, his brother, which I didn't know this part about, his brother passed away back in the summer, or early part of the summer, and it was actually suicide. A subject that's obviously very, very close to him. Depression was something that his brother suffered from, and it actually sent Dak into depression as well. I oftentimes, in tongue-in-cheek, wonder why a Hollywood star who's got so many things to be depressed about, or an athlete, but you don't know when they lose a loved one like that. I mean, I always kind of say, well, you're making $100 million. That's the cynic in a lot of people now. They kind of say that. I think that's where he was going with this. I don't know. But basically what he did was he basically called him out and called him a weak person for admitting that he had a problem with depression. My father had some issues with it. I think we've all had issues with it. I have issues with it. I don't think it's a subject that is taboo. It's no worse of a subject than any of the subjects we're talking about these days that are all politically important. And if Dak Prescott wants to feel depressed and worry about those with depression, it doesn't show weakness, doesn't make him a poor leader. And Skip Bayless went on this thing about how it basically made Dak Prescott less of a ball player because of it. First of all, the fact that the only reason I know this, and probably why 75% of America know this, is because they found out that what Skip Bayless said from secondary sources, meaning another network. Nobody watches that jackass. Okay? Now the joke's on me because he makes $5 million a year. But no one, I couldn't tell you where he's plying his trade right now. I don't care. What Skip Bayless says and writes, I don't care. It doesn't move the needle one bit for me at all. And the fact that the only reason I knew that Skip Bayless was actually doing media. I mean, I know he's doing media, but I couldn't tell you, hey, quick, turn to Skip Bayless. And show of hands here, is anybody out there actually watch or listen? Do I know any? I don't know anybody I'm close to. Now, this I may be wrong, because somebody may admit this, but who actually watches and listens to his show? I don't know anybody that actually values what this guy says and believes what that calls what Skip Bayless says is religion. That's what they believe in. If you're taking your beliefs from politicians, Hollywood actors, and Skip Bayless, you got something wrong with your priorities, first of all. I don't know anybody. And the fact that yes, I know who he is. I know him. I know what he does. I know what he says, and usually it's off the charts. But I couldn't tell you where his show was. And the fact that the other networks were able to tell me, that tells me a lot right there. And number two, that he gets paid $5 million a year from Fox, apparently, to spew the crap he spews. While people like myself and others, there's a long list of people that I know of guys who've lost their jobs because of COVID, who've lost their unemployment because of COVID. They've run out. Guys and ladies in broadcasting and media who would love to have a job that paid $5 an hour, much less $5 million a year, who don't have a job right now. And this knucklehead is going along, and he had a chance to apologize today, and he backtracked and sort of mentioned that he was sort of wrong, but he didn't really come out and say, I'm sorry, Dak Prescott, I was wrong. He didn't even say that. In his company, Fox sort of slapped him on the hand and said, hey, you probably shouldn't say that. There goes the dog. He agrees with me. But apparently, this guy's got pictures of somebody or something, or the joke's on me, and the joke's on you, that somebody out there is paying this guy $5 million to go on TV and do what he does and talk nonsense out of his back end. Now, he's written some very good books. He's had his moments. But how in the world in this day and age, when you've got issues with racial injustice, you've got, where love is the answer. We're trying to love each other more. We've got a pandemic destroying economies. And so a professional quarterback in the most high-profile team in the world is having a problem with depression. He admits it after losing his brother to suicide. And he's lesser of a man or a ball player because of it. And you have the audacity to come out and say that. And yet this guy gets paid. So the joke may be on me, but also is on Fox. I watch Fox all the time. And I didn't know he was on Fox. So that shows you how much I even know. Okay. And I like to think I follow sport quite a bit. I listen, watch, read. That's what I do. Follow baseball. I have my own shows, and it's like, for example, yesterday, it was a story in Australia that we wanted to get right. There was a pitcher who was at Perth, who went to Auckland to pitch. He's going to Auckland to pitch next year. We wanted to make sure we got it right. So I reached out to the player, to the organization, and we got the facts and threw them out there for our viewers and let them decide. But at no point did we, I asked the question, how could Perth let the guy walk? Well, they answered it. But at no point did I call anybody's, ability as a human being out, that they were lesser of a person because of it. And I didn't get paid a dime for it. I did that show for free because I love what I do and I love what I'm doing. And this jackass gets paid $5 million. So the joke's on me, the joke's on you, and Fox, the joke's on you as well. This guy's stealing money. So it really got into my crawl today when I again, and I'm not, my tweet today was the fact that I don't know. First off, I don't even watch the guy. And the fact that I had to find out what he said from 3 or 4 of the sources, because I didn't watch the guy. So somebody's out there watching the guy. Who are those people? I mean, who are the people that every day watch Skip Bayless? Who are those people? You're better off going to his brother's restaurant, Rick, his restaurant brother, who's really got great restaurants throughout the country. You're better off going there for your sports advice than that knucklehead, especially about society. It's the kind of crap that makes social media so bad, and I'm embarrassed for my business, and I was sad for my business, and I'm sad for folks in my business who have to look at that and go, how's this guy get paid? He's going to get paid to be a knucklehead, and yet there are people out there for no fault of their own, me included, but there's a long list of them. I can name you name after name after name, all across the country who are no longer or didn't get paid this summer or not getting paid now. And this guy made $5 million. So it really got into my crawl, really got in the crawl. And Ryan said, I get to the comments here. Yeah, Bayless is scum. The guy, this is a guy, okay, he was the founder of the ticket, but the people of the ticket in Dallas, the station in Dallas, they all think he's a joke. I mean, they clown this guy. He was run out. He was one of the original ticket shows. It was the first ticket show, I believe. The ticket in Dallas, Fort Worth market is basically rewritten the rules of how the sports radio is done. You know, the Fan in New York was the original, but this station is how Guy Talk's done, sports talk, all that together. Their synergy is rewritten how radio's done. It's the last bastage of real brick and mortar radio out there in the major markets. So the smaller markets, places where like Ryan is right now, he's making it go. He's got a mini network going out there doing a heck of a job. His show is what radio's supposed to be, and I believe that. You know, brick and mortar radio's at a crossroads, but that Skip Bayless was there initial. They want him out then. So he's not a big fan here in Dallas. And the fact that I had to know where he was, let's see here, actually makes him more of a man. Yes, I agree. I mean, it's the old adage, there's no crying in baseball. But yeah, there is. There's Lou Gehrig in front of the Yankee Stadium crowd with the luckiest man alive speech. There's that guy. You know, there's all kinds of there's a place for emotion in all. It's a place for reality. I mean, he's the same guy. Bayless is the same guy who beat around Tim Tebow for being Tim Tebow. So that's a good place. I want you guys to see this. I'm going to cut this out if I can. There goes the dog again. Go. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what he's going to try to stop. The window. Rob Bro, I believe you're talking about, is his name. Is Ryan does a show. It's Ryan Heights Raiderland with Rob Bro, and I think it's Breaux. Is that how you spell it, Bro? Go there, and I'll leave that up on the screen for you guys. Go check that out. I did read that piece, by the way, and it's good. So you should check that out. Go that link. I encourage you guys. It'll give a good perspective, but it's really good stuff. And, not trying to be a shill for Ryan, but he does good. The guy does great work. Okay. Ryan and Rob do great work. Their show's good, phenomenal stuff. It's what the spirit of the business is about. I'll even throw him out there as an example. They had a situation about 2 weeks ago, that they got caught in the crosshairs of some things that were said publicly, and they handled it with class. And gave their side of the story. And I think that's what you do. Skip Bayless didn't handle anything but class. It just got into my crawl, just to see the fact that, again, I'll leave that up for you guys, just see the fact that, again, I have a friend who I've seen battle, and this guy is battling. He's taking a job in their field, to their place, doing something else, just to kind of keep it coming in, because he can't do what he wants to do, what he's been doing, and it was no fault of his own. Myself, I can tell you right now, I am not a teacher, and I substitute teach to try to, make it work, but I didn't get compensated for anything I did with the T-Bones this summer, and it's not the T-Bones' fault. It's nobody's fault, not my fault, but yet you got this knucklehead doing what he does. So anyway, that really got on my skin there, and good stuff. Check it out. It checks in the mail. Yeah, well, hey, believe me, Ryan, I understand where you're coming from. You're an inspiration, mate, because what we're trying to do in Australia with my broadcast partner, Paul Morgan, and our mate Mike, doing some things. We're trying to build not only a broadcast thing, we're also trying to build a brand in sport and baseball. And we have this big master plan, and I know the labor of love it is, and I know what you're doing. It's so yeah, the check. We'll use that check, and we'll put it into the bank. Talking baseball Australia, so all good. Virtual happy hour. I've been on my tangent today. Rocked and rolled it. What else we got this weekend? I'm going to try to get out and see some sports somewhere. By the way, last night Stars did win. It was pretty exciting. Playoff hockey. Somehow, some way, the Stars team, I can't tell you at full strength they're better than Colorado, but they were, and Colorado wasn't at full strength. On paper, Vegas probably slightly better, but boy, that was something last night. Winning overtime at about 20 seconds in, good stuff. 2-1 lead. They play again tomorrow. Cowboys over the weekend. Texas Tech, of course, who we're following in our house. Penn State, they're playing lacrosse, hockey. I don't know. Jaeger shots at the Skeller, whatever it's called that my wife likes, that pub that's here in State College. Snarky jokes, of course. But anyway, got a lot going on this weekend. So a couple things, especially folks in Australia, that my mates over there, and if you missed the Talking Baseball Australia live from Friday morning, which would have been, that'd have been 7 o'clock here or 6 o'clock here in the States last night, go check it out. Go to our Facebook page, Talking Baseball Australia, and you will find our show from last night. We had Adam Dodd, the CEO of the Sydney Blue Sox. Good stuff, talking about Manny Ramirez. And Paul and I do our normal musings and go back and forth and do our thing. He's on one side of the globe, I'm on the other. And we had Adam Dodd in the car on the way driving around New South Wales while we were on the air. So all good stuff. So I encourage you to check that out. You can follow me on Twitter, of course, at Dan Vaughan Jr., and Instagram as well. Same thing. And then, of course, you're following me on Facebook right now because we're mates on Facebook. All good. Do have a couple things working on. Hopefully my schedule's open up a little bit because the Wednesday show that I do for the T-Bones is in dry dock now. The season ended yesterday. Of course, we did play. I'll do one more wrap-up show, and then I'll do my monthly kind of as I need to show, short little videos as well for signings. But by and large, the weekly show goes away at least for the time being until springtime or probably February, but we'll do a monthly deal until then. My Thursday show I was doing as well, the radio side, the T-Bones Broadcast Network show, that went away yesterday as well, so that frees up that. I think what I'm going to do for the time being is keep this thing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, longer on Friday, shorter Monday, Wednesday, perhaps for one more week, and then go Monday, Friday. Not 100% sure yet, but opening up, which means I'll be opening up some things to finally finish. You remember I had the cooking videos going. They're all there, but I'm still kind of fine-tuning the way YouTube supposed to be. All those analytics they tell you about and all that repurposing content they tell you about, all those big words, those young millennials tell us old folks how to run our YouTube. Well, I'm working on those things and also some web stuff too. So all good as well. I encourage you to check out Ryan Hyatt Media, as mentioned a moment ago, Talking Baseball Australia, and all that good stuff. And most of all, encourage you guys to be loving to one another, kinder, gentler. Crazy times, man, crazy times. So hug somebody close to you. Be a better person today than you were yesterday, and vice versa. Let's just keep getting better. Show some empathy. Final thought, too. It's been 19 years since 9/11. Could pretty much tell you, I couldn't tell you what I did 9/11 of 2000 or 9/11 of 2002, but I know what I did 9/11. I know pretty much remember how I felt. We're talking about depression. I felt as lonely and alone as possible at the time. I was a single fella. Was really in kind of a flux in life. Crossroads, we'll call it. Was doing some great things, but I hadn't really decided what path I wanted to take. Do I want to venture off or not? But I can tell you where I was the night before and that day, and even the weeks. And I think I told this story. I lost a friend of mine about a month and a half ago, and he and I had a radio show on Saturday nights in Dallas. At the time was 105.3, The Talk That Rocks, became the CBS sports station here about 10 years ago or so. But we were there doing a show on Saturday nights. We'd raised some money the Saturday after this. This would have been the Saturday after that, and he had driven to New York to drop off the money we had donated. He was actually driving to help out, help first responders at the site. He got in a car wreck on the way up there, rolled his car, totaled his car, and he and his girlfriend at the time, and they were stranded in Jackson, Tennessee. So I drove over the next Monday and picked them up. She was in hospital for an overnight for a day and a half, whatever. I drove them back. She had a fractured vertebra in her back, and I had to drive them back to Texas from Jackson, Tennessee. Took off from work and all that, did that. And I remember that, and we sent the money onward and sent it on to first responders. We raised on the radio. We actually raised money on our radio show going forward for weeks. I remember coaching a little league football team, YMCA team, and I remember how quiet the skies were at practice the next week when things went back to sort of normal, I guess. Had 2 players whose moms were still stranded across the country, hadn't gotten back home yet. And I remember how quiet the skies were, no planes flying. It was very eerie. And that whole day, there's a lot of memories we all have of that. But what I remember the night before, and I think I told this story recently on this very place, the Broncos played the Giants. And I love travel. I love sports travel. I love to talk about travel. I think it's cool how teams go from point A to point B. I love it how the T-bones go from point A to point B. There's a lot that goes into it. Getting our gear there. We had our sleeper bus and things like that. And just the whole process of travel with the team is kind of cool. I remember thinking, boy, the Giants will be getting back in about 6 a.m. And I was up about 7-something to watch, get up and get going for the day. And I'd had my fantasy team, probably won a little money the night before, and all I did. And well, the Giants probably touching down now after being out. And then I realized, oh, wait, things are different. And things were different. When I looked at that TV screen, I went to ESPN, and ESPN's got this scroll. I'm going, what in the heck's going on? And never forget. And I hope you guys don't forget. So tip of the cap to all of us, and and most of all, just how our hearts are still hurting. And I guess the thing is, it takes this one day a year to remind us to love one another and how special our country is. That's the sad part, because there was a time when it didn't take that. There was a time where you didn't have to pause political ads, political finger pointing. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to pause any of that stuff. You could keep loving and keep supporting across the aisle and across state lines and beliefs and all that. You could do that. You can't do that much anymore these days. It's all different. But it'd be nice if we could continue the spirit of 9/11 every day of our lives, as opposed just to one day a year. And unfortunately, tomorrow we're going to wake up, or Monday, you're going to go to the news and you're going to see the news. Biden this, Trump this, belief this, Pelosi this, whatever. It's going to be back and forth. You said, he did that, and that's what we're going to do. Cancel each other out, not love each other. But that spirit of 9/11, where none of that stuff mattered. That's what we need every day, not one day a year. Hopefully we'll get back to that point again, because right now, 4 days a year, we're a bunch of knuckleheads. I mean, conservative. Where in one day a year we actually show some love and empathy. So that's my take on 9/11. Amen to you too, Ryan. Thanks to all you guys. Big hugs, big love. Let me put the screen graphic up. Big graphics there. Big hug, big love to everybody. Lots of virtual hugs. Have a great rest of your weekend. A great Friday, Saturday. If you're about to see football, go get them. Hope your team wins. Hope your team wins tomorrow. And the Chiefs won last night. So some of the folks, my KC brethren, are very happy. Congratulations on that. For the rest of us, we're waiting around, and hopefully things will go our way this weekend. Big love to everybody out there worldwide. We had Canada. Again, we had 4 countries today: U.S., Texas, Canada, Australia. Count them, 4. 4 countries on this show on a Friday. Love to all you guys. We'll see you guys on Monday. Same time, same place on Virtual Happy Hour. Time to cook for my wife. Love you guys. We'll see y'all then. And welcome back.